Upon the plain of Fiora there sits a queen. Known to many as the Black Rose, she rules over the high city of Paliano. Her name, Marchesa di Amari. Today, we will delve into her kingdom.
Welcome to the Planeswalker Project.
What's up, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary rock stars? How are you all doing today? I hope you're playing hard. Queen Marchesa is one of the more unique Mardu-colored commanders in that her deck does not necessitate an aggro strategy, unlike counterparts such as Alesha and Zurgo. Her Highness brings with her a mechanic that I feel is very potent and fun in Commander, and so we're going to be expanding upon that in this build. For 4 mana, we get a 3/3 human assassin with both Death Touch and Haste. When Her Highness enters the battlefield, we become the Monarch. And at the beginning of our upkeep, if we are not the Monarch and an opponent is, we get a 1/1 black assassin creature token with Haste and Death Touch. So, the Monarchy is one of my favorite abilities in the game, and the flavor we will be experiencing in this deck is tremendous. At the beginning of your end step, you draw a card if you are the Monarch. If you are dealt damage through combat by an opponent's creature, that creature's controller then becomes the Monarch. And this, in turn, creates a very intense political game that we're going to be exploiting throughout our game. Our deck strategy has 2 main focuses: becoming the Monarch, and then preventing others from touching our crown. And if they somehow manage to take it, we do have ways of reclaiming our throne. We have a few ways to help us become Monarch. Like the Queen, many of these cards just hitting the battlefield will give us the Monarchy regardless of who else has it at the moment. Custody Lich will also force a player to sacrifice a creature. Knight of the Black Rose punishes players for stealing the Monarchy from us with some life loss. The Palace Jailer doubles as creature removal, at least until another player becomes the Monarch, which we aim to not have happen. Protector of the Crown redirects damage to itself, making it a very effective creature to have on our board. Skyline Despot, while tremendous to cast, if you are the Monarch as your upkeep begins, you get a 5/5 dragon, so not a bad deal. Marchesa's Decree punishes players should they attack us or planeswalkers we control. And of course, the throne to the high city can be sacrificed to become the Monarch. Of course, while Marchesa is in play, should another player happen to be holding the crown, she'll create an assassin to go in and retrieve what is ours. So we also have our commander to rely upon for such an occasion. Now, what you will learn upon playing this deck is that you will have to have a good political game. Aligning yourself against attacks is crucial to retaining your Monarchy, and so you will want to be able to make deals and table talks to make allies on the table, and then sit back and watch your opponents hack at each other. But as sometimes this is not the case, we must have our defenses ready. Archangel of Tights and the Windborn Muse both will offer us sustained pillow forts on creatures, and they're great to drop early game to protect ourselves. Kazul will spawn us hordes of 3/3 Ogre tokens primed and ready to block unless our opponents are willing to pay 3 mana for each one. Orzhov Advocist offers our opponents a little boost in their creatures in exchange for a temporary ceasefire. Selfless Squire is a great hand trap that gives us a fog-like effect in exchange for becoming a potentially huge soldier. Perhaps my favorite defensive card, which is a little more of an offensive card, Assemble the Legion will give us an increasingly large spawn of soldiers each turn, giving us feet on the table to help block incoming attacks and then attack outwards as well. Authority of the Consuls and Blind Obedience both tap down opponents' creatures as they enter the battlefield, and we also get a nice extort trigger on the Obedience. Norn's Annex, Ghostly Prison, and Sphere of Safety are excellent Pillow Fort cards. Aurification is a newer favorite of mine, turning any creature that attacks us into a wall, making attacks upon our throne a pretty tricky sacrifice. Mystic Barrier is another fun politics card, forcing players to only attack opponents to either their left or right, which you decide. In 4-player games, this card shines, especially if you can reach a state where one player cannot touch you. No Mercy flat out kills attacking creatures that touch you. Of course, we can only use Solitary Confinement to keep ourselves safe. The Monarchy card trigger will help us last longer with this, as we will draw during our end step to fulfill the upkeep discard requirement. Crawl space also keeps creature attacks set us to a minimum, and while not quite a pillow fort card in itself, Rites of the Raging Storm will give incentives for opponents to attack each other, giving them a big creature for the turn to fling at one another. Let's talk mana bases. Now, we are in Mardu colors, red, white, and black, so ramp really isn't our game. In fact, we're perhaps in the worst colors for mana accelerants, so we're going to have to make sure our mana fixing game is strong. The 3 signets are always good starts, as is the Chromatic Lantern. I like to have land tax in hand should we ever need to start snagging up some basics from our library. Our standard inclusions of shocklands and fetches, and I always try to go with only the on-color fetches to ensure at any point I can just get the colors I need. Checklands are good options as well. For this build though, I sought to include the Lorwyn block filter lands because of their ability to create 2-colored mana, a little bit better than the Ravnica Karuz. Maze of Ith can stop an oncoming assault in its tracks, Vault of the Archangel can help keep our life total healthy and high, and while this deck doesn't quite function as a token deck, I'm choosing to run Westvale Abbey for the potential 9/7 demon with keyword soup, and like many of my decks, Rogue's Passage will ensure that we get our crown back should an opponent decide to claim the monarchy. So what are your thoughts on this build? Do you enjoy a political game of Commander, or do you skip the table talk and go straight for the throat? Are there cards you would recommend to a Queen Marchesa player? Let us know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to like and share this video, subscribe for more Commander content. We also have a Patreon and a GoFundMe that you can help directly support the show if you so choose. And as always, I'll see you Rockstars next upkeep.